Welcome to the Master Module on Rigging Equipment. Hello friends, my name is Shamsher and I am a proud safety champion at Tata Steel. My objective is to ensure that you too join my tribe of safety champions. At Tata Steel, we are committed to zero. Today, I will help you understand the key guidelines for rigging equipment, sling and wire ropes. But you should also go through the Rigging Equipment, Sling and Wire Ropes Safety Standard SSENGG 06 document to learn more. Today you will need to unlock and enter 2 doors. Each door will introduce you to information related to rigging equipment. This will be followed by some challenges to test your understanding, which will determine whether you can unlock the next door. Unlocking both doors will lead you to a final challenge. If you complete the final challenge successfully, you will join my tribe of safety champions. Got it? And there is more. You need to win 5 points to unlock a door. Before you begin, let me share an incident that explains the importance of following the safety precautions for rigging equipment. On June 19, 2012, a fitter and 5 workers of a vendor agency were fixing a mouthpiece to bin number 2 at the PCI bin building located near the H-Blast furnace stockhouse. At the bottom of the bin, a flange was to be attached to facilitate the attachment of a rod gate, a rack and pinion gate, and a vibratory feeder for discharge of PCI coal onto the conveyors feeding into the existing ground hoppers. The mouthpiece was lifted in position using 2 numbers chain pulley blocks of 3 tons and 5 tons fixed on the east and west side of the bin respectively. A temporary platform, 2 meter high, was placed 1.2 meter below the flange bottom for inspection and welding of the flange with the bin. The fitter, along with a gas cutter, climbed onto the platform for ensuring the proper fitting of the flange. The fitter, while still on the platform, gave the clearance for welding of the flange, which was still supported by the chain block but was not secured by clamping with a hopper. His lanyard for the full body safety harness was anchored inside the bin. At this instance, the suspension block of the 3 tons chain pulley failed, and the end suspended by it swung towards the 5 tons chain pulley block, hitting the fitter on the back and shoulder. He got trapped between the fallen mouthpiece and the temporary platform as his lanyard was anchored inside the bin. The gas cutter standing on the platform towards the end, held up by the 5 tons chain pulley block, escaped without injury. The fitter was rescued by his co-workers who manually lifted the mouthpiece and gas cut his lanyard. He was then rushed to the West Plant First Aid Station by an emergency vehicle stationed nearby. After examination, the doctor on duty referred him to TMH, where he was admitted to the Critical Care Unit CCU. His condition remained critical for 5 days, after which he died on June 24, 2012. Let us see what were the main reasons behind this incident. This happened because the proper rigging guidelines and procedures were not followed. The SWP issued was generic for structural erection and work permit was issued without identification and mitigation of the hazard of working under suspended load. The anchoring of the safety lanyard inside the hopper was incorrect and ended up pulling the person under the swinging flange after the failure of the 3 tons chain block. The 2 falls of the 3 tons chain pulley block were converted into single fall, which combined with the reduced thickness of the anchor wall of the 3 tons chain pulley reduced its capacity. The material of construction for the anchor was found to be grey cast iron. Statutory testing of the chain block as per IS 3832/2005 was conducted inadequately. It is important for you to understand the rigging equipment procedures followed at TSL. It's time for you to get started now. Let me make it easy. I will let you enter the first door, but you will need to counter a challenge and gain 5 points before you can unlock the next door. Good luck. This door will introduce you to the objectives of safe hoisting and rigging, associated hazards, key guidelines on planning, general precautions for wire ropes, slings and other rigging equipment, and key guidelines on monitoring and review of hoisting and rigging operations. Hoisting and rigging refers to lifting and moving of loads using mechanical devices. Take a look at the objectives of safe hoisting and rigging. Apart from the main activities of hoisting and rigging, pay due attention even to the smallest link in the system, which can pose potential safety hazards such as falling objects, falling of workmen, entrapment, hit, impact and collision. Competent person must plan for all activities of hoisting and rigging. Let's look at the key guidelines for planning hoisting and rigging operations. Objectives of hoisting and rigging refers to lifting and moving of load. Apart from the main activities of competent person must plan for all activities of hoisting and rigging. Let's look at There are some general precautions for wire ropes, slings and other rigging equipment. Click each tab to learn more about the general do's and don'ts. Ensure proper monitoring. There are some general precautions. Ensure proper monitoring and review of hoisting and rigging operations at specified frequencies. Click on the left cells to know more. Now that you know the objectives of safe hoisting and rigging, associated hazards, key guidelines on planning, general precautions for wire ropes, slings and other rigging equipment, and key guidelines on monitoring and review of hoisting and rigging operations, it's time to take up the first challenge. That is incorrect. Bravo! You have selected all the correct. Before entering the next door, look at what you just learnt. This door will take you through the capacity calculation methods for hitches, key guidelines on safe use of slings and chain blocks, and guidelines on using and removing key rigging equipment. There are primarily 4 types of slinging arrangements or hitches: vertical, bridle, choker, and basket. Each of them has a safe working load, SWL capacity. Click each hitch type to learn more about the calculation methods of SWL capacity. To ensure safe use of slings and chain blocks, some key guidelines need to be followed. Let's take a look. Some key rigging equipment include wire ropes and slings, alloy steel chains, natural and synthetic fiber ropes, synthetic webbing, chain pulley block, bulldog grip, D and bow shackles. Each equipment has some key guidelines for safe operation. Let's take a look. Rigging equipment must be discontinued and removed from usage if they start showing any defects or signs of wear. Each equipment has some key criteria for removal. Let's take a look. Now you know the capacity calculation methods for hitches, key guidelines on safe use of slings and chain blocks, and guidelines on using and removing key rigging equipment. It's time to ace the final challenge. Good luck! Have won 5 points. Before you take the awesome. Before you take the final assessment, let's look at what you just learned. Take up the final assessment and join my tribe of safety champions.